Let's talk today about beating the market. What I mean by beating the market is having a portfolio. Typically, we're talking about stocks, although it could be of individual bonds as well, that performs better than the broader market. I don't even think you should try, and I'm going to tell you why. So, first, let's get a sense, generally speaking, about what we're talking about. We've talked about before investing in low cost index funds, where you're saying, I'm not making any bets about which companies are going to do best. I am simply saying, get me as broad a possible basket of stocks, and I'm going to collect dividends and just stay in it. And I will do as well as the market does overall. So let's figure this out here. We'll set up a chart, maybe like this and like this. We've talked before about this 7% number. More or less, you can expect the stock market to return 7% in an average year. And if you make investments, oftentimes we will look, let's see if we can do, we'll call this year one, and we'll call this year two, and year three, and year four, and year five. And the stock market will, it'll move up and down, and there will be drops, and so on and so forth. It really doesn't matter. The point is the stock market does something over this 5-year period. Fine. Over time, it will average out to this 7% gain. So without spending any time, without thinking about which stocks to hold, if you just invest in a total market index fund, you'll make 7% a year over 5 years. Compounding, you'll collect dividends, and then the dividends are reinvested, and you'll make money on the dividends, etc. This is really what most people should be doing. You get a huge basket of stocks. You don't have to worry about which companies go bankrupt, which do well. What do I do? Just your money goes up roughly 7% a year. I've talked about one method for trying to do better is timing the market. And timing the market is essentially trying to figure out, let's see if I can get a different color here. Okay, here stocks are high, so I will sell here, and then I'll buy here, and then I'll sell here, and you start making these differences, okay? And I have a totally separate video on why that's not a good idea. Let's now talk about holding individual stocks. You might have the idea, listen, if this is how the stock market does overall, by holding the right stocks, right? Like I'm going to research, and I think if I get Netflix and Google and a mining company and Live Nation and Bayer Pharmaceutical, those are going to do better. So over time, you would have a different return, right? That starts to do better and not go down as much. Okay. And so over time, you end up with this difference. Instead of 7%, maybe you made 13%. Okay. What are the problems with this? Because it must be possible, right? I mean, you hear about people who they threw in $1,000 into 2 stocks and they came out with $1 million and they just did unbelievably. There's a couple different reasons why this is really difficult to make a reality. The first thing is something called the efficient market hypothesis. Now, the efficient market hypothesis, I don't believe is literally true, but it's one of these frameworks we learn in basic finance, basic economics. And the idea there is the market already reflects all known information, and the prices of stocks reflect all of that information. So by definition, you can't really outperform because you can't possibly have more information than the markets already reflect unless you have insider information, which is illegal to trade on. Now, this is not always completely true in the sense that you might have a particular insight into a combination of metrics about stocks that, while individually all of the information is publicly available, no one has thought of to evaluate which stocks are likely to outperform. But then you have to ask yourself, there's how many people that do this full time, and a tiny fraction of fund managers overperform that 7% average over the long term. If they can almost never do it, how am I going to be the guy that is able to overperform? So that is one thing that is important to consider. The next thing is when you are trying to do better than the market by investing in individual stocks, you need to be right multiple times in general, just like timing the market. What do I mean by that? Well, sometimes companies go bankrupt, and they could be companies that you pick. And sometimes companies go bankrupt after doing really, really well. So let's take, another company. Let's use Green, for example. Imagine this stock price for a company, which is the green line, which it goes like this. It doesn't really matter, whatever it is, and then it goes to zero. The company just goes bankrupt, and companies go bankrupt all the time and are removed from the stock market. You have to not only buy at a price that makes sense, but you have to sell at the time that makes sense as well in order to lock in that overperformance. Because sometimes if you just wait it out the way with index funds, you just keep holding, collecting dividends, you could end up with zero if that company goes bankrupt. But it's not just about the fact that you also have to get out at the right time. You're also, in general, people who invest in stocks are trading much more actively than those who invest in index funds. You're also going to be subject to capital gains taxes. And sometimes those will be short-term capital gains taxes, and that is going to drag on your returns as well. So mathematically, what you end up sort of stumbling upon is that you need to do even better, because you need to account for the fact that some companies will go bankrupt and that it is less tax efficient to invest in individual stocks. So in order to even match that 7%, you might actually need 9%, or it's a mathematical question that could be calculated depending on a number of factors. If the people often educated in finance who study the charts and the fundamentals, they trade on Wall Street, if even they can't beat the market average, what makes you think that they can do it? And there's the story about Warren Buffett, who was betting hedge funds about who would have a better performance over a 10-year period. And he said, I'm going to take the S&P 500 over your returns. And indeed, there were 2, 3, 4-year periods during which many of the hedge fund managers did do better than the S&P 500. But after the 10-year period, the market had returned very close to this number. It had returned, things are moving around here. The market ended up returning during the Buffett period 7.1%. And the hedge funds did 2.2%. Now, did some hedge funds have success during certain periods of time? The answer is yes. But how do you know which ones those are going to be? Prior performance is not indicative of future results. The other aspect to this, if that you choose to go the hedge fund route, oftentimes the fees with some of these hedge funds can be 2%, whereas you can find funds with a 0.05% fee ratio, and that's going to be a significant drag on your returns as well. Don't worry about picking the right companies and trading in and out. Now, I've told you before, I have a little bit of money in individual stocks. I consider it fun. I consider it gambling. I forget what the number was when I did my asset allocation, and it was like mostly mutual funds and then bonds and then real estate. It was like this time, was it maybe 6%, some very, very small amount. Take the stress out of it. Don't try to beat the market. Buy the market. Invest long-term. Minimize taxes, minimize fees. You'll be much better off.